Hello and welcome to Furious Driving and this week's breaking news. This is the semi-weekly update on all the things that have gone wrong when I've gone to try and drive one of the cars on the fleet and found that something won't work. The thing is, when you've got multiple cars, it's pretty inevitable that you go and drive a car and something is going to break. I say multiple cars, not cars in double figures, because I'm no longer counting under 20 as double figures, because double figures is where the 10s become multiple as well. So I'm not saying I've got double figure cars anymore. It's better that way. As I say, this is the unexpected breakages area of the channel. We have expected breakages, or planned repairs I should say. So we've got videos planned on the Rover 75 trying to work out why that won't run properly. I've got videos on the Alpha 159 talking about the first 1,000 miles when, you know, things obviously have broken. It's been sat in the field for 5 years. Those are the planned videos that I've got going on in the background, that I'm working on ideas for scripts and things, and I'm buying parts to make things happen and, you know, involving other people. This is the stuff which just happens every week, and I was just fixing stuff in the background and thought I should make videos about that. Anyway, this week we've got two cars which are making an appearance, and it really is the epitome of broken Rovers and shattered dreams. We've got this one, the Crown Victoria, who's suddenly decided that it no longer wants to have a functioning passenger window, unfortunately with the window down. And secondly, we've got the Rover 2000, which I thought, it's a nice day, I'll take that out. Not running well at all. So we'll have a quick look at the poor running on the poor Rover. But we'll start off though with the rather urgent, trying to make that window shut so I can go out. Right, so I had actually thought that this was going to be a simple problem with the fuse, which I had piggybacked the police emergency lights up onto through one of these little piggyback fuse things. And I'd had a problem not so long ago when I'd knocked the fuse jobby with my foot or my knee or something, because it's underneath the driver's footwell, and it had knocked that fuse loose, and then the passenger window did stop working. I thought that was what the problem was last time. Maybe it's just a coincidence it started working again, because I've unplugged this, so the police lights are no longer working. I'm going to reroute these. That's the plan for a future video, rerouting these from a different power source. Didn't make any difference. Still, doesn't work off the driver's door thing. Did a quick Google, and people suggested that maybe what you can do is take off the driver's door control panel, pull it all apart, because it just clips apart like big sort of clippity Meccano Lego stuff, and give all the gubbins inside a good clean. So I did that last night. Stop beeping. So I did that last night, and guess what? It made no difference at all. So this morning I'm going to have to take the door card off, which apparently on these things is really easy. Incidentally, I'm tea-shelfing it today with my mug of choice. It's the Car Stacks mug with the rather lovely Russell Wallace artwork, which I realise now is out of date because it's got the Freelander and the Volvo top and tailing it, and hasn't got the Alpha 159. So I'm going to need to get these redrawn, I think. Maybe it's just a sale to get rid of something out of date stock. Right, let's get this door apart. So apparently on these doors, I've never taken one of these apart. It's very, very easy apparently, I shouldn't say that, but there is a screw just there and a screw just there and a screw hidden by the little panel just here, which basically apparently levers up. There you go. So I break it all. Up and out, there we go. So there's 3 screws. I mean, literally is a pull it out and listen for the terrible noises kind of a deal. This is such creakety, plasticky plastic. This is why American cars get a bad rap, because they're solidly built, but the plastics are just such a creaky, crackly, horrible stuff. This has been out before, that's really loose. 2, and number 3. So the unplugging mechanism here is you've got to unscrew this big thing on. Well, this central locking works. This dark grey area here is a huge pluggy bit that you can lever out with a small screwdriver. It's too hot to be doing this today. That sounds like it's never been taken apart before. So yeah, you get your screwdriver in here, try not to short it out on any of the big prongs. There we go, that's now free. That's the panel with the switch. And apparently the door card just goes straight up. I just did a quick check on a second video, which is more in depth than the first one I looked at, even though it was only 2 minutes rather than 10. And apparently you just have to carefully pry out this little panel that goes around the door handle, and there's a 4th screw that sits inside there, then the whole lot it just lifts off just like that. Super easy, barely an inconvenience, although this clip and a bit of plastic did fall out, which suggests this car has had that door apart in the past. Now, I need to get through this plastic sheet, which again looks like it's been taken off before. And then find myself the window regulator, which is inside there. I need this loudspeaker off. These, I believe, are actually the same speakers as you find in a Mark III Mondeo. And if you can get yourself some Mark III Mondeo speakers, apparently they're a handy little upgrade as well. So maybe I'll look at doing that while I've got the car apart. Assembled in Mexico. But yeah, it does look the same size as a Mondeo speaker. So let's get this all off. Okay, so following the advice of strangers on the internet, I am disconnecting or removing the motor from the window mechanism, because as far as I can see looking inside the door, the window mechanism is all in one piece, and these 3 Torx screws are what holds the motor to the glass. It's this big lumpy bit here. Oh, hang on. This does not sound as advertised. So I've never opened a Crown Vic window regulator before, and this could go horribly wrong. Okay, so that thing I was unbolting is actually the motor, but it's obviously straight into the window regulator as well. The people from off of the internet suggested that by separating or undoing this thing, I'll be able to separate the motor from the window regulator mechanism. However, a bit of white lithium grease, which is good for lubricating this kind of thing. It's going to lube up the window tracks. That. Get a face full of lithium grease anyway. And what I've realised is that with my hand underneath here, I can actually lever this up more easily, whoops, than before, and actually raise the window up, which I couldn't previously. I couldn't do it by pulling, but I can by pushing now that the window is a little bit freer. In fact, now it's freer. Oh, I can separate the motor, now it's all had a bit of a jiggle. Okay, so I've separated out now the actual window spool that goes up any, down any, and makes the glass move. There's no resistance from that. The motor is now a separate entity. Out it comes. This is the drive motor purely for the thing. So let's try this with the power probe. Let's have a look and see what we can do, see if it does actually work or not. So that is running clockwise. That's running anti-clockwise, so the motor does appear to work. So presumably it's just a drag on the system is too much for it when it's working. So hopefully if I can lube all this stuff up, it will actually work, maybe. Lose the resistance from it. Lube up the wire as well. Okay, can I move this glass down and get some wire through the spool? Yeah, I can. Oh, much easier. Just want to try putting the switch back together and seeing if this will now work. Central locking works. Motor doesn't work. Okay, that's interesting. So it's a switching issue in that case then. Hang on. Does it work off the master switch on the other door? That works, but that doesn't. That's really strange. And I don't know why, because I've had that switch apart. It must be a wiring issue. Well, that's sort of disappointing. Good in a way, because I haven't got to buy a new window regulator and ship it over from America, because with the new tariffs and things, that's expensive these days, and also going to be a bit slower. But it is also weirdly confusing in that everything works. The window goes up and down smoothly, the regulator appears to work, and the cabling is all unmushed, which is good. The motor works perfectly on the power probe, so thank you again for viewer sending this in, super useful. But that does show the motor does work, it just doesn't work off here. The question is why? So that's a question for when it's not 30 degrees and it's hurting to be out here. My main goal though is achieved, which is getting the window shut so I can actually park the car and not worry about it getting stolen off full of rain. Because even though it is 30 degrees, the moment I park this car outside for any length of time and walk away from it, it is going to pour down. So that's partly done, but now I need to go start digging through the electrics and working out why it doesn't work. Every other window works perfectly on that switch. It's just this one that doesn't. And when I did a quick test with my multimeter, it did look like no power was reaching this connector block just here when I pushed the button on the driver's door. So, where is the problem? We'll investigate this further, as I say, when it's not 30 degrees. Let's go in the shade and have a look at the Rover 2000. So this is my 1972 Rover P6 2000, the car I've owned the longest and my favourite really. But I haven't really used it much the last few weeks because whenever I've tried to drive it, it starts fine, it idles fine, but you try and put any load on it at all, touch the accelerator and the engine just kind of dies. It really even struggles to get over the little lip into the garage, so I'm not quite sure what's wrong with it. So I've been out today trying to work out what could be the problem. I've done the very obvious stuff. I've been and got a gallon of super, so it's got better quality fuel in there. I've popped the distributor cap off and I've cleaned up the rotor arm and I've checked the points are all okay, because that is a common problem with these things. Didn't seem to fix it. But I think in one of the oddest, how on earth did that happen kind of situations, I've just lucked my way into fixing this car, well, thankfully for no money, because I thought I'd just make sure all the HT leads were properly pushed on the distributor, which is a real basic thing to do. This one, for cylinder 3 though, wasn't making good contact. And when I look inside it, it turned out that the end had actually broken off inside and it had pushed back inside the boot and it had all gone kind of green where it hadn't been making contact in a very long time. So, a quick delve into the garage, and fortunately I never throw anything away. Aha! Found a spare HT lead from something else in a box, and guess what? I think it might be fixed now. Well, interestingly, it's not 100% right, but it's getting better. I think maybe it is like a partly stale fuel situation as well as the broken HT lead. I wasn't driving it because I had the unknown broken HT lead, and so the fuel went stale in the tank, and the extra gallon of new good stuff does seem to have made a difference. It was really sputtery pulling off the drive and getting out of the estate, but now I'm actually on the open road. It seems an awful lot happier. He says it sputters and coughs. Hopefully it's fixed. I'm going to turn around and the pulling away will be the proof in the pudding. It's definitely better than it was. It was very floaty. I think I might need new shock absorbers on it. It's better, but it's not perfect. I'm not sure I want to take it too far at the moment. Maybe a few more exploratory runs. It's definitely happier at high speed. Yeah, it just coughed out. It just died completely for a second then, and came back on again. Interesting. It is... That's not me changing the throttle input, that's the car doing weird stuff. I wonder if it is just like dollops of bad petrol in there. I was going to say maybe it's the timing, but when it's running nicely, it's running perfectly. But then it just cuts away. Very strange. I don't know what's wrong with this car. Really, really odd. Okay, so after this week's breaking news, things have basically remained broken. The Crown Vic, don't know exactly why that window won't go up or down anymore. There's definitely power going to the master switch, and there seems to be power going not to the passenger door. So somewhere between the master switch and the passenger door, it's losing power. There's only one fuse that runs all 4 windows, so if that fuse had gone, the other 3 windows wouldn't work, but they do work. So it's not the fuse, it's not something simple. It's a wire has come disconnected or broken somewhere between the 2 sides of the car, but at least the window is now shut, so I'm going to call that a win, and I didn't have to go and spend 150 quid on a new window regulator, which I thought I was going to, so also a win. As far as the P6 is concerned, the 2000, if I turn the key right now, it'll fire right up, and it sounds really smooth as well. but isn't 100% happy when it's coming offload, and yeah, so I'm thinking hopefully probably it's a fuel supply issue with this car, because otherwise this car is running very, very well indeed. So possibly a fuel filter that needs cleaning out, or just another couple of gallons of V-Power might do the trick, and just a few more just gentle miles to drive the car, use up the old fuel. Because it's got the reserve tank, it's an extra 2 gallons of petrol, which with the new E10 stuff, it can sit in the bottom of the tank and go stale, and then as you top up a couple of gallons of fresh fuel, it sits on top and just mixes the bad stuff with the new stuff, and you keep on getting sloshes. So I'm wondering if even it's just that the reason it's as you come off the power, it starts going bad as far as running is concerned, is because as the fuel pickup is in a fixed position, the bad fuel sloshes past it. You pick up a slosh of bad fuel from the reserve tank at the bottom, and it's all just basically one big tank with a pickup feed at the bottom and slightly higher up for main and reserve. That's all it is. So I'm wondering if that's all it is. I just need to literally just drive this tank down to nearly empty and refill it with a lot more V-Power. Maybe that's it. Anyway, as far as other stuff that's happened on the cars this week, the new Mercedes C-Class, that got new rear pads and discs put onto it. I was going to do it myself, I ran out of time. I wound up taking it down to Stevenson's Mercedes, who did it for me because I just didn't have time. I was going to change the oil on Mrs. Furious's new Mini Clubman. I haven't had time to do that yet, so that's a job for tomorrow probably. Maybe make it into the next video. It's literally just an oil and filter change though, because the car's overdue a service and we haven't got time to book it in, and it's really expensive at the main dealer, and really all it needs is an oil service. Anywho, right. This is this week's breaking news. This is the stuff that has broken, but in a small enough manner not to require a full video, but too significantly to ignore completely as far as this week is concerned. There have been bigger things that have broken, but they'll be in their own videos in the next couple of days. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, like and of course subscribe. If you want to support the channel, there is of course channel memberships and Patreon, which gives you access to discounts in the store, as well as extra little videos. And there's of course the store. But currently there is a problem with the background security things. Everything works fine, everything is secure, but you do need to hit the take me to this link anyway button at the moment, because we need to sort out something on the back end, but it does still work fine. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, blah 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 blah. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.